What's up guys and welcome. You are watching Fazi Fitness. So let's start this video with the latest physique update from Florian Poirson. So the man is looking very lean, very round, and kind of seems like he is ready to start the next season. So he competed multiple times this year, and that was of very significant importance because this is a guy who, after turning pro back in 2019, he was being perceived as the next big star in the men's open division because of his crazy structure, amazing quads, a very small waist, beautiful physique top to bottom, amazing aesthetics. But kind of unfortunate that he switched over to classic physique just after doing a couple of shows in the men's open back in 2019, and he switched over to a category where he just simply did not belong. And all he did during that entire time, while he was competing in Classic, was restricting his body, restricting his growth during those 3 years or so. But now that he's back in open bodybuilding again, the man really is pushing pretty damn hard to put on some muscle, some density, especially in the back area. So Florian wasn't able to win a show earlier this year, but the 12 months transformation that he was able to make from Classic into the men's open, that was pretty unbelievable. So where is lacking at this point? That is the back. His back width has came up a lot since he transitioned back into the open category. But that's one aspect, especially in terms of the density and the thickness in the back shots, where he really needs to focus if he wants to win a pro show and qualify for the biggest bodybuilding show in the world. Plus, his upper body, that still is a bit behind in terms of his overall size, his proportions compared to his lower half, which is very well developed. So looking forward to his return back on the stage sometime next year after another decent off-season. He had a few good months of proper off-season, and I for one am really looking forward to his return back on the stage and see how much improved he looks this time around. Before you scroll or blink too hard, have you subscribed yet? Please don't make me bring out the emotional blackmail. Hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell icon. It's free, it's painless, and that makes me look way cooler than I actually am. So after this post-Olympia run of Joan Pradells, we need to talk about this kid more, because this is a guy who was trolled big time for pulling out of China Pro. So many people online accusing him that it just wasn't an issue of food poisoning that made him pull out of China Pro just one day before the show, and that there were some other underlying reasons. So he went from that to almost beating Joan Pradells at Prague Pro this year, and last night he almost won his first pro show, also beating a guy like Akeem, a seasoned veteran in the men's open, a guy who has been multiple times top 10 Olympian. And the fact is Joan did that without any problems and pretty handedly. So if someone would have said earlier this year that Joan Pradells, he's going to have such a massive impact in the open bodybuilding in the post-Olympia tour, people would have laughed at them, and rightfully so. It's a simple fact. He was untried, untested. The only show that he did after getting his pro card, that was the Emperor Classic Spain back in 2022, where he was unable to make top 5, and that wasn't a good showing by him, as he wasn't very peeled, he wasn't in a good condition. And regardless of where he placed in that show, he just did not look like a guy who was ready to take on all these pros. But what we saw from him last night, that was so sensational. He was third in the British Grand Prix, fourth in Prague, in one of the deepest lineups of this entire year, and a very close second behind Andre Presti last night, a show he could have won and nobody would have complained. So that is a physique meant for open bodybuilding, the size that he was able to put on during the last couple of years at such a young age of 25. Not everyone who gets a pro card has those kind of genetics. All he needs is more back density and thickness, and a bit more conditioning from the back. And this guy will be pretty damn dangerous, and he will surely be on the Olympia stage in 2026. So Michal Krizo guest posing today among a bunch of smaller bodybuilders. That is a pretty accurate description of how an elite IFBB pro will look like next to a bunch of smaller built guys. I mean, look at the difference in the size. Krizo is a total freak. And guess what? If Samson and Martin, they would not have done Prague Pro, we would have all predicted that Joan Pradells is gonna win that show, his open debut. But the fact is Krizo would have denied him. And that too quite comprehensively. Because on the scorecard, it wasn't even close between him and Joan. There was no competition. So with the third place finish at Prague Pro, he legit proved that he's a top 8 Olympian no matter how deep the lineup is. And the reason I'm saying that is because if Krizo was able to beat Joan so comprehensively, he probably would have beat Tony Burton too. Because that size advantage, that is a bit too much. And the fact that the conditioning on Krizo, that has always been top notch in every single show. So the good thing is that he's already qualified for the Olympia next year. So now he can have a proper off-season. Now obviously he would love to improve on his last Olympia placing, which was top 7 a couple of years back. That was the last time he stepped on the Olympia stage. But Krizo, I'm thinking, will not sit on the sidelines this whole season and solely focus on the Olympia. He might jump into the Pittsburgh Pro and probably the New York Pro too. And he still has plenty of time to make some improvements before those shows. As of now, all that matters is that Krizo do something about the waistline. The man is too good of a bodybuilder, and if he fixes those obliques, he's gonna become so much more dangerous. The former 212 Olympia champion and also the Masters Olympia champion, Kamal just isn't pushing Andrew Jacked for the upcoming Romania Pro next weekend. This guy is one of the best built, 53 years old on the planet right now. And if this guy seriously commits to the Masters Olympia again in the future, he will 100% win one more show because of the polish that he has. So Kamal has been competing for more than 2 decades now. And he's a guy who loves high volume training. And maybe that is one of the biggest reasons he never sustained any serious injury throughout his career. I do remember him tearing his calf on the weekend of the Olympia back in 2018. And even then, he was able to place top 3. So Kamal, when he did the Masters Olympia a couple of years back, he absolutely dominated the lineup. He was actually supposed to retire by doing the Men's Open Olympia that year. But because of some family emergency, he was unable to do the Olympia that year. But as of right now, he is continuing with his training and he looks so impressive, especially for his age. Now we know not many fans, they are interested in the Masters Olympia. But that still really is a highly prestigious show to win for guys like Kamal who love competing. So the Olympia back in 2020, that physique of Kamal, that was undoubtedly the best of his entire career. So hit the thumbs up button if you liked the video and smash the subscribe button if you wanna come back for more. Thanks for watching.